Thank you, Mr. Chairman, very much. Congress has still failed to put in place the safety reforms recommended following the Deepwater Horizon disaster. The independent Blue Ribbon BP Spill Commission gave Congress a grade of D+ on its legislative response to the spill. And more than 5 years after the spill, we still have not enacted key drilling safety reforms, such as significantly raising the liability cap for an offshore spill and increasing civil penalties. Dr. Joy, Dr. Reddy, can you speak to that and whether or not there are, and good to see you both again, welcome to the committee, but your recommendation on those issues I think are critical. D+ from an independent commission really doesn't give any great reassurance that we are going to be protected.
I think that one way to move forward in a very positive way that would benefit both industry and the response side of this problem is to form an academic response network that is well integrated into National Incident Command and works with federal responders. I think that many of the issues that were faced and the challenges that were faced in the response to the Deepwater Horizon by both the federal side and the academic side was just incredibly poor communication between federal responders and academic responders. Academics have a lot to offer. We have a lot of system knowledge. We have a lot of expertise, and that should be fully taken advantage of. And it wasn't fully taken advantage of.
Should Congress take action to make sure the spill recommendations are put in place?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Dr. Reddy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And furthermore, I'd like to make sure that credit is due to you, Senator Markey, because in many respects, while you were a congressman, you actually paved the way, and you broke down many of these walls that led to what I think is a much better place now between academia and responders. It was a big problem at the beginning of the spill, and certainly you broke down these walls, and I think we're in a much better place. Unfortunately, scientists always say three things. We wish we had more time, we wish we had more money, and we're not quite sure. In this case, I would say that in order for us to grease these wheels and to get academia and response working more closely together, where I think we can have great synergistic effects, we're certainly going to have to grease these wheels and provide more funding that in many cases was outlined in the President's Commission.
Dr. Kinder, do you want the recommendations of the BP Commission to be implemented?
Absolutely. I think they're critical. I think that the other thing
and you think it's critical for Congress to act, to put them on the books?
Mm-hmm. What I think also, to follow on with what my colleagues have said, it's not only critical to have the academic community interacting with responders during a spill, but I think it's critical before the spill. I think now is when we should be having responders talking more with scientists and getting into the issues, because science has a lot to bring to the table, but it could be brought to the table now. It's too chaotic during a spill to be discussing what's going on. It's thinking ahead of time. Here's a spill, as the senator from Michigan and the senator from Minnesota pointed out. Here's a spill that could occur in the Great Lakes. What are the issues we'd face? How could we deal with it?
The same issues that the
well,
BP Commission are recommending that we implement. Let me ask you this. Let me go down again. Natural gas, right now it's not counted in terms of a release and when there is a calculation for fines. Should natural gas be included in terms of the potential damage? Dr. Joy.
In my opinion, absolutely. It has an ecosystem impact. It should be included without question.
Dr. Reddy.
I couldn't agree anymore.
Yeah. Dr. Kinner.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Williams.
Well, I think the key thing is to really look at the gaps and you know, find gaps, close the gaps.
But should natural gas be included if there are effects?
I don't have a comment or a position on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And do you agree? And just one final question, if we could. There are some which are saying the BP is saying that there has been no significant long-term population level impact to species in the Gulf. Do you believe that that is accurate, or is that just a premature overstatement of a conclusion that cannot yet finally be determined? Dr. Joy?
I disagree with that statement.
Okay, great. I'm going to run out of time. Dr. Reddy?
I believe it's premature, and I'd rather be in the long game of science to make sure that we get everything in place before we can really hammer out what we know and what we don't know and what's under debate.
Thank you, sir. And Dr. Kinner?
I don't think we know yet.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.